return the floor to uh, the OIC of the Recreational Safety Branch of this office to further discuss the content of the policy. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, sir. Once again, to all our attendees, thank you for your presence today and welcome to this virtual public consultation on the proposed Memorandum Circular entitled Accreditation and Survey of Lifeguard Training Institution, School and Organization. To everyone, the purpose of this public consultation is to consolidate your comments, recommendations, insights, which will be useful in the crafting of and implementation of this proposed regulation. So the scope of my presentation will be the background, followed by the provisions of the Memorandum Circular. So as a background, the Philippines is an archipelagic country with more than 7,000 islands. Recreational activities in coastal and beach resorts are commonly enjoyed by foreign and local tourists. As of October 2022, 3,579 coastal and beach resorts and 286 lifeguards were listed to the PCG. These data were consolidated by the Recreational Safety Enforcement Unit of the Maritime Safety Services Command in all PCG Coast Guard districts. The number shows that lack of lifeguards were declined across the country. So, lifeguard play a key role in ensuring a safe environment for swimmers at pools, rivers, lakes, public beaches, and resorts. Recreational activities in coastal and beach resorts, particularly in swimming, have certain hazards. One of the leading cause of incidents is drowning. Data shows that from 2021, there were 308 drowning incidents recorded, and as of October 2022, 224 drowning incidents have been reported. Again, this data is from the PCG Weekly Maritime Incident Report of the Maritime Safety Services Command. As presented here, drowning incident in 2021, 131 out of 308 were casualties or were drowned. A total of 43%. Extracted here, 8 out of 42 were casualties or were drowned in the places in the coastal and beach resort as a result of conducting recreational activities. So, data from drowning 2022, 150 out of 224 were casualties, or a total of 67%. 39 out of 88, or 44% were casualties. As you notice, bumaba na ang alert status due to COVID-19. More people are going to public beaches, resorts, swimming pools to enjoy recreational activities. So this data is very alarming because from last year, it had almost tripled yung number ng nalunod that was conducted recreational activities. So the Philippine Coast Guard issues and enforces rules and regulations for the promotion of safety of life and properties at sea, including all maritime-related activities such as marine parades and regattas, operation of leisure and recreational activities, scuba and other related underwater activities. And the Philippine Coast Guard Memorandum Circular 03-14, dated 16 April 2014, guidelines for safety and security requirements for promotion of safety of life at sea. Under its provision, Section 7A.1 of the Memorandum Circular, all resorts shall provide the services of a sufficient number of lifeguards duly trained by Philippine Red Cross, Philippine Life Saving or other Philippine Coast Guard accredited organization and be certificated by the PCG. However, since the promulgation of the
Bukan mo niya ta?
Memorandum Circular in 2014, there were no circular rules and regulation pertaining to the
Makimit-meeting kami kami.
training institutions.
Makimi-meeting kami.
And this proposed memorandum circular
Ni?
entitled Accreditation and Survey of Lifeguard Training Institution, School and Organization will establish standards in lifeguard training and produce lifeguards with the skills and confidence they need to save a life in event of water-related accident or injury. So, a good lifeguard training program includes practical application, techniques, educational information, supervision, and drills. We will now proceed to the provisions of the memorandum circular. So with regards po sa ginawa namin, we divided by section of the circular, and we will discuss after I discuss or read the section. You may raise your concern immediately or comment. You can use the raise hand button or chat box, and we will acknowledge you. So first, the title of this proposed memorandum circular is the Accreditation and Survey of Lifeguard Training Institution, School, and Organization. As per Section 1, for the authority of this memorandum circular, Republic Act number 9993, known as the Philippine Coast Guard Law of 2009. For the B, Rule 3E1 L of the Implementing Rules and Regulations of the Republic Act number 9993. So if you have any comments, ma'am, you may use the chat box or you may as well raise your hand. If none, we may proceed to the next section. As per reference, we have 4 references that we discuss. We will be discussing the HPCG/CG8 Memorandum Circular number 0314 dated 16 April 2014 for the guidelines for the safety and security requirements of the coastal and beach resorts and vessels with pool facilities, including qualification and requirements of lifeguards for the promotion of safety of lifeguards. Next is the Technical Education Skills Development Authority, Circular 15 Series of 2018, implementing guidelines on the deployment of training regulations, competency assessment tools, assessment fees for lifeguard services NC2 and lifeguard services NC3. For C, Maritime Industry Authority, Circular number MD 2020-05, dated 27 October 2020. Revised rules and regulations in the accreditation of maritime training institutions to offer approved maritime training courses for seafarers on board domestic ship. And lastly, Marine Memorandum Circular number 2013-05, dated 18 January 2013. Rules of procedure in administrative investigation of cases involving violation committed by maritime training institution and Filipino seafarers and corresponding table of penalties. Any concern or recommendation, addition, comments?
None, sir.
Hi, Sir Selwyn. We have a copy of this memorandum and other documents for the requirements of research. We will forward you these references after this presentation. recommendation? If none, we may proceed to the section 3 of the regulation. This memorandum circular prescribes guidelines and procedures for the accreditation, renewal of accreditation, and audit of lifeguard training institution, school, and organization for the promotion of the safety of life at sea, particularly at coastal and beach resorts, lakes, rivers, vessels with pool facilities, and other maritime-related recreational activities. Any comments, ma'am, sir, with regards to the section 3?
Sumirasilipak din. Nakalive mo. Ato sa mersirit nga ko.
So we will proceed now to the section 4, the scope. This memorandum circular applies to all applications for accreditation of lifeguard training institutions. Someone has raised their hand. MSSU Western Visayas, Coast Guard Ensign Buol, you are acknowledged.
Sir, good morning, sir. Sir, doon sa section 3, sir. Sa purpose, sir, napansin ko lang, sir, hindi kasama yung inland resort. Clarify ko lang, sir, kung hindi talaga siya kasama, sir.
Noted in this, sir.
Kasi may mga resort din sa inland natin, sir.
Okay. We will add this siguro sa definition of terms para we ma-clarify ang suggestion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for that one.
Yes. Hindi, kung sarado din ha.
Any more comments, ma'am, sir?
Mas lalo ka kayo sa doon.
Yes, Ma'am Annalisa Lagbas. You are recognized, ma'am.
Hi, good morning. Good day to our PC and OIC and Commander Antoine Malverfully from Alpha 1. So, previously we were requested to provide some
Gawin makita na kita rin mo
regards to
kapitan
the
eh.
MC. So, as was
Linda ka garo ka.
inland resorts and
Tagal
hotels, I think we had asked a question as well because if you look at the definition where it actually says vessel, we had sent you that comment, sir. So, vessel is something that obviously will run into the maritime related activities. So, please get a confirmation exactly what it means when you say vessel. Because now that the question will go back into inland hotels and resorts where we don't have, that they don't have any beach resorts or maritime activities. So, kung pwede lang po clarify siguro if we need to have verbiage. So, and then secondly, with the definition of the vessel as well as inland hotels and resorts, it would then beg the question, pag dumating na dun sa reference D for administrative investigation, what would be the procedures for inland investigation cases? Sir, if I may respond to your question. As regards to the question earlier about the inland resorts, the Coast Guard, as of the moment, we're not yet regulating the inland resorts. So it's not yet included in this policy. As regards to the vessel with it is specified that only the vessels with facilities. So that's the
Yung
the
kasalanan,
vessels that
resort
will
na
be
kunwari
regulating as
sa
regards
farm,
to these
swimming
policies.
pool lang sa
Policy that
di maritime yung
we
makasali
just
sa
wanted to make sure hindi po
hindi
kami
PCG ang
magkasundo
nagpadat di swimming pool lang.
resorts
Pamatay
na
to, itatbay-bay mo TPCG ko na.
PCG agad
swimming pool but does
sa
not
mga
have
kasali
beach
na
property. We just want to make sure we're following the right regulations.
Di swimming pool,
Yes,
kita
sir.
malak mo na
For your comment. Thank you, sir.
Wala dalagpad na pero ang
Private.
kasali
Thank you, sir. Mr. Roger
What
Bond,
the-
you are
PCG
acknowledged here for your call.
Thank you.
Source na.
In regard to this, I see the major problem, and I put it in my earlier recommendations. The mandate of Philippine Coast Guard is safety at sea, which I believe means that there has no authority in inland resorts whatsoever. And I had suggested that the Department of Tourism be invited to join this also, as in 2012 tourism regulations, there were provisions for lifeguards in swimming pools, etc., which were not coastal. These were removed after the advent of around the circuit year of 2014, and currently the movement within Department of Tourism has no regulation in regards to lifeguards. And I think that under the law and under the regulations as they stand, the inland resorts must come under the Department of Tourism. In the fact that the Coast Guard mandate is safety at sea.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your comment. That is correct, sir. That's why I said earlier that we are not regulating the inland resort because that doesn't fall under our mandate. But that's why it's not included in this policy. But based on the recent undertakings of the Coast Guard, so maybe if the DOT or the Department of Transportation will demand us or require us to include that, then that's another case. But for this moment, we are not including those inland resorts. Thank you, sir. I believe also, sir, we have invited representative from DOT. So may I know if the DOT is represented here?
Yes, sir. You're correct, sir. We already sent invitations DOT, sir. We called them yesterday, sir, and they acknowledged, sir. However, siguro, sir, hindi pa naka-join ngayon, sir.
Anyway, even if hindi sila maka-join today, we will also send them our output for today, and also we will furnish them the draft policy prior recommending it for approval from DOT.
Thank you, sir. Another one raised hand by Sama Surf Life Saving of the Philippines. Sir, you are acknowledged, sir.
Sir, good morning. This is Taj. I'm a lady, president of Sama Surf Life Saving, counterpart of Roger Bond in Zambales. We talk about inland, that they are not particularly included. However, we are talking also about drowning prevention, and there are also activities, water activities.
Dito di ko, di Sambales Live
Maybe we could just add on there.
Sino ba yan? Si Madam
Madam nga, yung asawa niya.
Because you are talking about drowning prevention. And inland resort also they are also doing activities in the pool, which is also still waters activities. So I think it's also high time to combat with or to listen up with the drowning incident. We could also involve that because we're also training lifeguards. And we are training lifeguards for the pool, we're training lifeguards for any controlled environment, and we're also training lifeguards there for the storm safety which is out there at the sea. So it's high time also to help combat with the drowning prevention in the Philippines, which is the fourth leading cause of death in the
Deliver?
country at the moment, which is
Sayang,
also
nagpa-alak ko naman tikwan.
issue now, according to our Department of Health. So that's what I am trying also to comment about the England result.
Thank you, ma'am. So for that, ma'am, we will
Ma,
be
kamu na Rod?
um,
Kuno ije mo bangin raya?
consulting our legal division and we will check because as of moment we don't have demanding, but we will check if we can obtain some legal references for us to come in regulating those inland, or perhaps we could come up with a memorandum of agreement with the DOT for us to come in if that will be allowed. So, but that is a very good suggestion, ma'am, and we'll make sure that we will refer it to the proper agency. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes po, sir. Thank you so much for that. Considering also the fact that we are gearing towards accreditation of the different lifeguards, so we will be categorizing some who will be trained lifeguards for the still waters and also for the open sea. So that could be related to our objective, which is a safer beach person. At the same time, combating the drowning prevention in the Philippines.
Ano, nagdalang i-deliver yaw? Dito yung kabungawan niya, i-get yaw niya.
Yes, ma'am, I fully agree with the recommendation, and we will endeavor to make some arrangements with our counterparts in the Department of Tourism.
Thank you very much, sir. Looking forward to that one.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Again, another race end by Cuesta del Sol Resort. You are acknowledged, sir, ma'am.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, everyone. I fully agree with the comment of the lady regarding the inclusion of the inland resorts. I was actually scanning all on the chat box. Many of the participants here are owners of inland resorts. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. If none, we may proceed to the section 5 of the proposed memorandum circular. For the purpose of this memorandum circular, the following terms are defined. Anniversary date refers to the date of issuance of Certificate of Accreditation. Certificate of Accreditation, a certification issued by the Philippine Coast Guard to training institution, school, and organization that officially recognizes them as having complied with the rules and regulations pertaining to established legal and procedural requirements. Lifeguard refers to a person who supervises the safety and rescue of swimmers, surfers, and other sports participants, such as in a swimming pool, water park, or beach. They shall be qualified and should have the requirements for certification of Philippine Coast Guard. Lifeguard training institution, school, or organization, any non-government organization, institution, and establishment that promotes lifeguarding with the objectives to educate, instruct, and train a lifeguard applicant for learning and acquiring skills set by the Philippine Coast Guard. Life-saving equipment designed for or connected with the saving of human life, particularly from drowning or in any maritime tragedy. Program of instruction, a standard-based sequence of planned experiences and studies set by the Philippine Coast Guard as the foundation of teaching for the lifeguard training institution, school, and organization where lifeguard applicants practice and achieve proficiency in content and applied learning skills. Proof of safe occupancy, permit issued and approved by the Office of the Building Official of every city or municipality to confirm that the facility is suitable for lifeguard training conditions, considering its compliance with the provisions of the National Building Code of the Philippines, and to submitted plans and specifications. Qualified and trained instructors refers to individuals who are competent instructors for lifeguard training courses under this circular. Renewal of accreditation refers to the reapplication of the Certificate of Accreditation to be conducted every 3 years from anniversary date. Survey, an audit performed by the qualified Philippine Coast Guard personnel from Maritime Safety Services Command, Recreational Safety Enforcement Unit. Initial survey. Survey conducted for the purpose of accreditation. Annual survey refers to the field survey conducted once every 12 months for the purpose of monitoring and ensuring compliance. Comprehensive survey, it is a full inspection undertaken which includes ocular inspection of the facility and review of supporting documents for the purpose of accreditation and renewal of accreditation. Re-inspection survey refers to a comprehensive survey done after failing an initial survey, annual survey, or comprehensive survey. Any comments pertaining to the definition of terms, ma'am, sir? Larry Joe Alag, sir. Ma'am, you are recognized.
Yes, sir. Narinig ba ako?
Loud and clear, sir.
Okay, with regards to the definition ng lifeguards natin sa definition of terms, I have already sent my comment last night, no? Suggested by
Duro mo na di.
so pinadala ko na dyan. I'm more concerned of the definition. I think we need to
Utang mo na dagpay mo magamin ito, buong.
recognize definition ng lifeguards natin.
Ay, agad mo na. Guna mo nga ikag, amo ang kumang ikas. Balagan mo kas kanyan, magbulat.
The definition of a lifeguard according to the Royal Life Saving and the Surf Life Saving Australia
Gana mo, labdabas.
does
Basta
not
pa mo
match
yung brothers.
our definition and the definition that was set by the TESDA, the Technical Educational Skills and
Wan, Mio Gravis nga model ko 2022 ko
I
na.
have sent my recommendation, no? Because according to
Racket.
lifeguard and lifesavers are one and the same according to the Royal Life Saving Society of Australia and the Surf Life, because a lifesaver is the traditional term of a lifeguard way back sa unang panahon pa. So inadapt a lifesaver, no? A lifeguard can be a volunteer,
Umay mo ito di.
a lifesaver who volunteer or paid that is really that is working or volunteering towards drowning prevention and or in response to emergencies, other emergencies, not aquatic or aquatic in a facility. So I think we need to adapt with the definition na
that a lifeguard is an appropriately trained individual, volunteer or paid, that is
before Christmas, kaya kumatang tinuto kumagkuha mo publiko dagay kuha ng dagay accessories na.
the main purpose of which ang main task niya is to the prevention of drowning and other emergencies in an aquatic facility. Also, I would like to add that, regarding the issues a while ago that was raised regarding the inland water resorts, I would like to agree with our colleague and our fellows from Zambales that the Department of Tourism should be involved, considering that the inland resort is also under the Department of Tourism, and they are also conducting their own inspection in relation to the recertification or the issuance of business permit with the LGU. And I would like to add on that our TESDA is or has a certification for inland water lifeguarding. So I think we need to also check with TESDA regarding the training regulations on the inland water resorts or certification for inland water lifeguards. I think mayroon na training regulations ng TESDA regarding this. So I think we need to also ask TESDA on this certification process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I believe, sir, your comment was already addressed, sir, here in the remark section, sir. Well, for your comment, sir, this is duly noted, sir. We will address this to our technical working group, sir, for further discussion. Thank you, sir. Any additional comments on the definition of terms, ma'am, sir? Again, ma'am Annalisa Lagbas, ma'am, sir, you are recognized.
I thank you, OIC. Sir, just if we're concentrating on definition, I think we both know, myself and Roger fall in within the area of Sambales, and we're both private organizations or institutions. So if I could just refer to item D. Pakitaas mo na. So item D, it refers to lifeguard and training institutions, any non-government organization, institutions, and establishment that promotes lifeguarding with directives to educate, instruct, and that a lifeguard applicant to learning and what is that? Acquiring skills set by the PCG. Sir, hindi ko alam kung tama po yung verbiage na set by the PCG, because it will then go against the first couple of words of any non-government organization. So kasi ang kalalabasan po rito is the government is setting the way we do business. So I think it would be better to use to acquire skills meeting the minimum requirements of the PCG. That way, you're giving the freedom for the private businesses to conduct their training based on their standards, based on their curriculum. They can add, but they cannot go under the minimum requirements of the PCG. Yun po yung nakikita kung pwede sigurong idagdag dyan sa lifeguard definition sa item D. And then in addition po dun sa previous commenter po dun sa in regards to volunteer and paid, it's just, wala pong sigurong ako nakikita ang problema sa pag-separate ng volunteers and paid or to identify volunteers and paid. As as part of the practitioners of lifeguards, will there be a difference between a volunteer as far as the training that they're required versus a person that's paid? Because if that's the case as well, we may end up having to involve DOLE, because if we're going to require certain certification for certain individuals, just like anybody else working in a professional position, will we then consider how these people are paid? Ano po yung salary nila? What is the incentive for a person to pursue the certification kung ang bayad sa kanila ay hindi pa rin nasa-set? Yun po isa nagiging problema sa lifeguard team. Kaya yung iba ayaw kunin kasi wala po sila nakikitang incentive. We can come up with all the rules and regulation, but if we don't equal the certification or incentive to those people that need training, medyo mahihirapan po tayong i-push. Besides the resorts or hotels or the business owners having to meet compliance requirements, but how about the lifeguard, the person that we're trying to train? Yun lang naman po. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your comments. We will surely discuss this with our technical working group. And as regards to the incentives of the lifeguards, I believe, sir, it can be addressed in another policy, since this is just to set standard for the training institutions for lifeguarding. So for lifeguards, I believe, sir, for at the moment, there are already a minimum wages set forth by the Department of Labor, depending on the locality wherein the resort is situated. But we will still look into the issue, and perhaps, if possible, we can include it in another policy. But I think the Coast Guard doesn't have the mandate to prescribe certain incentives like wages because that is that particular function belongs to the other agency. So what we are trying to arrange here is to institutionalize the standards that this training lifeguard training institution should meet, and so that they can provide a well-qualified lifeguard to the resort owners. Because the issue at hand, we kept receiving feedback from the stakeholders that they don't know where to send their lifeguards for training. They don't know who are the accredited, or if in our previous policy we mentioned some institutions that are accredited by the Coast Guard, but their existence is limited in some areas of the country. So thank you, sir, for your comment.
Copy, Commander. Thank you po, sir. Like I said, it's just those things na naririnig namin with the practitioners, mga lifeguards, that so nare-report sa amin, whether Roger hears it or not, as far as the salary. We understand that those mandates belongs to DOLE or some another organization. Siguro po isa sa mga things to consider with your technical team. Once again, kasi pag separate natin yung volunteers and paid, then that gives a beach resort or an area to figure out. You know, sometimes hindi po nag-work into the advantage of the practitioner. Kasi gagamitin lang, you're only a volunteer versus a paid lifeguard. So thank you po, sir, and we understand exactly what the limitations are. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So, which also actually, your comment is really a very very good comment, and I think we can also discuss to our technical working group whether in the definition for this particular policy, if we will, if what I think what we can do is if the Coast Guard will allow volunteers, or we can prescribe perhaps employed lifeguard and not volunteer. So, but as I've said, that's not yet final. So we will discuss it with a proper body. Thank you, sir.
Noted, please.
Thank you, sir. We may proceed, sir, sa kay Sir Roger Bouncer. You are acknowledged.
Thank you. In comment to Alpha One and especially to Larry from PCG, PLS. In Surf Life Saving Australia, the terminology generally between a lifesaver is a volunteer and a lifeguard is a paid employee. Of course, either must have exactly the same standard. There should be no lesser standard for a volunteer or a paid employee. A lifeguard or lifesaver should have the same qualification and should meet the same standards. In regard to the comments of Alpha One, in regard to lifeguard training, I agree with Commodore that wages are set by the DOLE and these are already in place, so I don't think there needs to be a special classification
Battery low.
for a lifeguard salary. In regard to
Say, the charger battery low.
accreditation, one of the problems here that needs looking at seriously is the amount of time it takes to do an accreditation exam.
Ano oras sa meeting yan?
We got
Ano
application
oras sa
for
meeting?
renewal of our accreditation, which was held since 2016. In December of last year, as it fell due in March of this year. It was not dealt with until late February, and it was never issued until June. So there was actually 3 months of the year that we could not train at all due to waiting on the accreditation certificate. 6 months from application for renewal to actual renewal, I think, is far beyond any reality. And the last comment I'd like to make is in regard to the definition. There should undoubtedly be different definition between a pool lifeguard and an open water lifeguard, as the qualification, especially in swimming, for a pool lifeguard can be less than that of an open water lifeguard. And to our organisation, safety is a priority. If we have people capable of doing the job in the pool that are not capable of doing the job in the ocean, we should not be turning them away and refusing them. We should be accepting them and making sure that they are regulated only to operate in a closed water environment. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that comment, sir. We will discuss this, your comments, sir, with our technical working group, sir. Thank you, sir. Any more comments or recommendation in our section 5 for the definition of terms, sir? If none, we may proceed to the next section. Section 6, or the policies. All lifeguard training institution, school, and organization providing lifeguard training to be employed at coastal and beach resorts, vessels with pool facilities, and other maritime-related recreational activities must apply for accreditation. A certificate of accreditation shall be issued to lifeguard training institution, school, and organization that has complete and valid requirements cited in paragraph 7A of this circular, employed qualified and trained instructors, undergone and met the requirements of a comprehensive survey, and shown readiness to conduct lifeguard training. For qualified and trained lifeguard training instructors must possess the following qualifications: has completed IMO Training Model Course 6.09 for instructors, holder of TESDA NC2 certificate for lifeguard, holder of any internationally recognized lifeguard training certificate or equivalent Philippine Coast Guard lifeguard training certificate. A lifeguard with more than 3 years of experience and physically and mentally fit. Certificate of accreditation shall be valid for 3 years and subject to an annual survey. A comprehensive survey should be requested 3 months prior the anniversary date of the certificate of accreditation for the purpose of renewal of accreditation. Previously submitted documents that are not expired remain valid and would not be required to be resubmitted during the renewal process. F. Philippine Coast Guard maintains payment or fees and collection record book in accordance with the existing Commission on Audit procedures and policies. G. The Philippine Coast Guard shall coordinate with TESDA or any other government agencies in charge of certification of lifeguard training for the adoption of the standards of training and competency required for lifeguard trainings, safety equipment, and facilities. The certificate of accreditation of lifeguard training institution, school, and organization shall automatically be revoked in case of a change of ownership and or address. Any comments on the section 6 of the policies, ma'am, sir? Yes, sir, Lagbas. You are recognized, sir.
Thank you, sir. Once again, just clarification lang po, no? On item C. Qualified and trained lifeguard training instructors must possess the following qualifications. So meron po tayong 4 items, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Would that mean that every trained lifeguard instructor must possess all 4 or one of these items?
The term must possess the following qualifications, sir, is all the 4 requirements, sir, for your recognitions.
Kasi sir, for number 1 has completed IMO training module course 6.0 for instructor. Would that apply only for maritime school? Yes, sir. Actually, sir, this particular requirement was included in this draft policy purposely to ensure that the instructor has the quality or ability to convey the lectures or instructions to the students. So in maritime schools or training centers, so this is one of the basic requirement because that particular course simply prepares an individual on how to conduct lecture, on how he or she could be better convey the lecture or the instructions and some sorts of like a classroom procedures. So if if you can recommend an equivalent like training for our instructor, then we might consider that as well. Copy po, sir. Copy po, ma'am.
Permission to comment, sir?
Yes, ma'am, you are being recognized, ma'am.
Hello, sir?
Yes, ma'am, Maria, you are recognized to comment, ma'am.
Thank you po. Regarding, sir, the IMO training model course for instructor, what about those people like, or like me, I've been lifeguard instructor for of Philippine Red Cross for the past 8 years, and I also have undergone different training with Surf Life Saving Australia and Royal Life Saving Australia in Australia. So does it mean that we also have to undergo the IMO training model course 6.09, or there are also things or like credentials that we can submit so that we are qualified or that can be weighed for our requirements? Just a query on that matter, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. As also raised by Sir Legbas, that is a very valid comment, and perhaps we will recommend to include an equivalent training course for instructor. So as I've said, this IMO model course is just a course for the instructor so that they can manage the classroom. They know how to present the lesson well, how to prepare PowerPoint presentations and some sorts of training or classroom related procedures. But definitely, ma'am, that is very valid, and we will recommend that to be included as well in number one, to include other equivalent trainings.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate for your clarifications. Thank you, po.
Thank you, ma'am. And another comment, you are being acknowledged, Sir Larry, sir. Sir Larry, you are raising your hand. You are being recognized, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I'm what my concern is on the section 2, to continue the discussion on the qualification of the possible instructors for a lifeguard certification in the Philippines, holder of TESDA NC2. I would like to suggest that now TESDA does not allow NC2 holder to train lifeguards. Instead, TESDA regulations for instructors must be an instructor must be one step higher to the qualification that he is teaching. So in this case, this should be holder of NC3, TESDA NC3 certification. Take note that the TESDA regulation has NC2. In lifeguard services, we have NC2 and NC3. So TESDA has already prepared an instructor's course as well. So NC3 is their minimum standards for being an instructor. So if we can adapt the TESDA certification on this, and they have also their training methodology on how to conduct the lifeguard training for the Philippine standards.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the comment, sir. We will surely include it in the policy, sir. And may we also may I take this opportunity to ask if we have a representative here from the TESDA? I believe TESDA is also invited to participate. John, meron ba?
Sir, we are still hinahanap pa namin, sir. But we already sent, sir, since last week yung invitations. And they have acknowledged also, sir.
Okay, so in that case, we will refer to TESDA, and at least we can adopt whatever practices that they are already doing, and if we can adopt this as recommendation as well. So thank you, sir, for the comment.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So, another raise hand by the PLS. Sir, you are being recognized, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear, sir.
Yes, sir. With regards to the qualifications with instructors, I think there's training regulations already made with TESDA in reference to Larry's comment with TESDA on how trainers are qualified. There is training regulations, that's training methodology, and well, that's what Larry has been saying about the NC3 is very well and good. That there's also trainers methodology that's specifically for lifeguard trainers and instructors. That's all, sir.
Thank you, sir. We will again address your comments, sir, for the inclusion in the discussion of the PWDs.
John, I think Sir Roger is raising his hand.
Yes, sir, Roger. You are being acknowledged, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. In regard to this, the tester course, I've looked at when I was involved, and I'm still involved with Surf Life Saving Australia and Surf Life Saving Academy New South Wales. The tester course is, from memory, quite long, something like 16 weeks. And in Australia, that particular course is for an administrator of the Surf Life Saving Club, etc. I think here, with getting safety on the beaches here, that the Philippine Coast Guard should accept some of the international qualifications, such as Surf Life Saving Australia, RNLI, etc., which have qualified and instructors, etc., such as myself and Larry were instrumental back in 2010, I think it was, in having Surf Life Saving Australia conduct a instructors course in Bahay and Zambales, of which people passed. Myself, I was in Australia earlier this year working with Surf Life Saving Academy and Surf Life Saving Australia, and I hold what is called a train the trainer certification, which means I can actually train an instructor. I think we should look at all of the alternatives available, especially those which are a lesser time frame but certainly of a high standard. I think to adopt just the tester regulation, I think at this point in time would be a step backwards. Just my comment.
Basta pagana dyan yung grabe back-race.
Yes, sir. Again, sir, we will input your comment, which will be discussed by our technical working group, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, again, Sir Lagbas, sir, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, sir. In reference to the qualification, our understanding, especially on number 2, holder of test NC2 certificate for lifeguard, which I think was already identified, should be NC3, we agree. And then holder of any international recognized lifeguard training certificate or equivalent PCT lifeguard training certificate. I agree with Roger that we should consider international standard. But sir, if we're only going to stick with just local training, level of local training, then we're not pushing this industry to the international best practices. There should be a separation sa recommendation ng natin. Myself, Roger, and everybody else that's the institution, we understand that we're
Singer ka nga, singer. Singer ka nga, singer. Dapil utang mo kanya.
here locally.
but we cannot discount yung mga lifeguards that works
Eh,
abroad
basta bayaran ko kanyang utang ko.
that actually has to follow certain international best practices and
25.
standards.
Ay,
And that's the reason why,
20,500
as
utang ko
Roger
kanya.
was saying,
Remember?
we should consider those things, because if we only limit ourselves to Philippine standards and not consider international standards, we will always be behind. Okay, we should be at least trying to push for that recognition of international standards. Like I said, we have personnel that we train, not necessarily that works here in the Philippines, that works overseas. So the question now would be, once they apply or once they use that training that's supposed to be as a requirement here in the Philippines, the employers, the agencies that are hiring them are saying, who is PCG and what is TESDA NC3? So, and nothing against the PCG or NC3, it's just that we have to help our fellow citizens to figure out what's the best for them. We understand trying to meet the safety requirements here locally, but we can't discount the people that actually want to work overseas as well. And I know this might not be the forum for that, but I think with the technical team, with PCG, that's something to probably just consider, especially for those training standards as well. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. That is a good recommendation, sir. I must admit, sir, that during the crafting of this policy, the group that crafted this toned down some of the requirements in the aiming for the maximum participation of training institutions so that we can provide lifeguards to our local resorts. But yes, that is very valid, sir. So that I think we must aim to at least be at par with the international standard, so that those aiming for employment outside the country can utilize whatever certifications they earn from these institutions as well. Thank you, sir.
Copy to Commander. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Are there any more comments or recommendations, sir, with regards to policies?
Yes, sir. Just to add on, I thank our fellows for the healthy recommendations and comments. I totally agree that we should not limit our standards on just Philippine our Philippine standards. That's why I think for our core group with the before siguro we will publish this recommended MC. I think it's better for us to also ask TESDA. No, I don't know if TESDA is representative is already is already with us, but I think it's better for us to also ask them, because I believe that it was published that TESDA has already activate alliances all over Asia Pacific, and TESDA standard is accepted all over the Asia Pacific Tibet alliances, also in the Southeast Asian region. So I think we need to realign and talk it out with TESDA so on how we can improve and further our implementation of our lifeguarding program in the country. I think looking forward doon sa improvement ng bansa natin, and kumaga our MC should be encompassing and should be forward looking, and that's why I agree with all the recommendation that was sent by our fellows a while ago. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for your comments, sir. Another praise sent by Sir Roger Bang, sir. Sir, you are being acknowledged, sir.
Thank you. May I suggest here that all of the training institutions, such as ourselves, PLS, Philippine Red Cross, Alpha One, Sangha, etc., be invited to a separate meeting in regard to item C as to setting a standard. Currently, there is no national standard. For example, I know that Philippines PCG are using RNLI standard. Philippine Life Saving, I believe, are using Australian Surf Life Saving Australia. Ourselves are using New South Wales Life Saving Academy, and others. We don't have a national standard. Maybe we need to look at a national standard, or discussion I think would be best with a separate discussion with the actual certifying groups that are in operation now to come to a standard in that area which is suitable to BCG. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that recommendation, sir. It's a good and valid one, sir.
Sir, I concur with Mr. Roger Baum that we have to have a separate workshop for that matter, sir.
Yes, ma'am. We will look further into that, ma'am. As for now, ma'am, we are glad, ma'am, that we are conducting this virtual public consultation, ma'am, because we to consolidate your valid comments, ma'am, for further discussions, ma'am.
And also, Sir Ma'am, and I would like to take this opportunity to also convey to everybody that with the healthy discussion that we have right now, I think it is necessary as well as for us to present again to you the final output prior submitting it to the approving authority. So that we can further check if all the issues, ratings, and recommendations are included. Thank you.
That is well noted, sir. Thank you very much for.
There are no other comments pertaining in policies. We may proceed to the next section. We may proceed to the section 7. All training institution, school, and organization that will conduct lifeguard training before accreditation must submit the following requirements to the nearest Coast Guard District Maritime Safety Services Unit. Accomplish application form signed by the President or designated representative. 2. Data privacy consent form for corporations. Attach a secretary certificate or special power of attorney as supporting document. 3. Department of Trade Industry registration of articles of incorporation. 4. List of instructors accompanied by resume detailing experience and training. 5. List and description of training facilities, equipment, and or materials including the training site and facility. 6. Proof of safe occupancy of building and structures used or occupied for training. 7. Provisions of a group insurance policy. 8. Program of instructions based on the minimum standards prescribed in Annex C of this circular. 9. Publications and brochures. And 10. Other items as may be required according to the future issuances by the Philippine Coast Guard. B. Once the above documents are submitted, Philippine Coast Guard districts shall direct Maritime Safety Services Unit commanders to conduct a comprehensive survey, inspection of lifeguard training facilities and safety equipment which may include but is not limited to the following. 1. Basic life support, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. This includes human dummy and bag valve mask. 2. Water safety, safety craft auxiliary boat, shepherd's crook, reaching pole. D. Emergency oxygen. And E. Flotation devices. 3. The first aid, which include A. Spine board, B. Cervical collar, C. Triangular bandage, D. Elastic bandage, E. Splint, F. Emergency kit. 4. Other items as may be required according to the future issuances by the Philippine Coast Guard. C. Upon completion of the requirements mentioned in paragraph 7A and 7B, completion of the comprehensive survey and approval of accreditation, the lifeguard training institution school shall pay an accreditation fee. D. The rate of fees, fines, and penalties under this circular shall be studied and evaluated by the Philippine Coast Guard from time to time. E. Accreditation of lifeguard training institution, school, and organization shall be valid for a period of 3 years. F. Renewal of accreditation. Every application for renewal of accreditation shall be made 3 months before the anniversary date, and upon compliance with renewal documents and requirements, which may include but are not limited to the following. 1. Application form for renewal of accreditation. 2. Comprehensive survey. And 3. Renewal fee. G. Revocation of certificate of accreditation. All certificates or permits that may be issued in relation to the circular may be soon revoked based on a verified complaint and upon the observance of due process. Any comments pertaining sa Section 7 or the procedures, Councilor?
Para lang. Ibong kon.
Then, we may proceed to Section 7.
Sundo ka ba na? Sundo ka ba ano? Bakit nandun ka na? Hintay ko sila. Ano ba lang? Ito?
We're expecting them to perform at the highest level, especially in maritime open water flood. We know for a fact in maritime conditions there are hazardous materials. So I think whether it's an awareness training that should be included in the procedure for the training itself, or be included on the next meeting for institution for organization, I think hazmat itself should be also included. Once again with the PCJ commanders confirms.
Thank you, sir, for the comments, sir. We will recommend this to the DWG for the hazmat awareness to be included, because there are yes, you are right. There are certain situations which requires the lifeguard to be aware of whatever possible injuries they may have or 8 other identifiers.
Kaya?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Any other comments or recommendations?
That's like one comment of your advice regarding the awareness training, hazmat awareness training. Hazmat awareness training, hazardous material awareness.
Again, A, Maritime Safety Services Command shall 1. Supervise, monitor, and evaluate the implementation of this memorandum circular. 2. Approve and issue a certificate of accreditation to approved applicants. 3. Revoke the certificate of accreditation upon the observance of due process. Submit a copy of all approved and revoked certificates of accreditation to Commandant Philippine Coast Guard. 5. Release issuances that expand or modify the requirements for accreditation, renewal of accreditation, and standard for the conduct of survey. And issue a memorandum circular, a memorandum directing the increase of fees, fines, and penalties pursuant to paragraph 9C. All fees, penalties, and charges mentioned in this memorandum circular are subject to a 10% increase every 3 years from the effectivity of this circular. B. Coast Guard District Commander shall monitor and supervise the proper implementation of this memorandum circular. 2. Maintain list of lifeguards, training institutions, school, and organization, district area,
Pwede nito lang. Siguro pwede.
validate and endorse the
Pero
application
makawal
of
alis sa
training
ilang.
institution, school, and organization prior
May dating
to
nagbarbangon.
submission to Maritime Safety Services Command through Maritime Safety Services Unit. And 4. Train Philippine Coast Guard Survey Team composed of Coast Guard District personnel, Maritime Safety Services Unit personnel, and Special Operations Unit personnel. C. Recreational Safety Enforcement Unit shall ensure that all lifeguard training institutions, school, and organization are registered and accredited to Philippine Coast Guard. 2. Validate, recommend, and advise Commander Maritime Safety Services Command pertaining to the accreditation of lifeguard training institutions, school, and organization. 3. Prepare the certificate of accreditation for approval and signature of Commander Maritime Safety Services Command. Maintain a database of all registered and accredited lifeguard training institutions, school, and organization. 4. Evaluate and review all reports submitted by Maritime Safety Services Unit pertaining to verified compliance, and provide recommendation. 5. Conduct training and ensure competency of Philippine Coast Guard survey teams. 6. Ensure that all candidates prior to the conduct of the comprehensive survey inspection meet the requirements as per corresponding of paragraph 7B of this circular, and provide funds for the conduct of periodic inspection of lifeguard training institutions, school, and organization to all Coast Guard district. D. Coast Guard station substation commander shall receive application for the accreditation of lifeguard training institutions, school, and organization. 2. monitor and supervise the proper implementation of this memorandum circular. And 3, maintain a list of all accredited lifeguard training institutions, school, and organization within their respective area of responsibility. E, Maritime Safety Services Unit shall conduct an annual and comprehensive survey of the training facilities and shall review and assess its supporting documents. 2, designated as the collecting and remitting officer for the implementation of this memorandum circular. And 3, act on verified complaints received and submit the report to